Walter was a renowned scientist and inventor, his life filled with legend. Not only did he achieve remarkable accomplishments in research, but he also saw great success in business. Yet, this elite individual ended up with a tragic fate. A seemingly ordinary yet sinister devil had set him as the target of their crime. To reach their goal, the perpetrator didn't hesitate to involve those closest to Walter and even subjected this elderly man to unspeakable acts. So, what exactly happened? Let us delve into this case. Walter was an unremarkable child with poor social skills when he was young. His family once believed he might have some developmental issues. However, in reality, Walter was a true genius who simply preferred immersing himself in his own world rather than wasting time on social interactions. It was precisely this unique personality that shaped the extraordinary life of Walter. After high school, Walter excelled and entered Carnegie Mellon University, one of the top institutions globally. He earned a PhD in chemical engineering and after graduation was specially hired by Sandia National Laboratories as a nuclear weapons scientist. The specifics of his research at the lab remain classified to this day, but given his published papers on reactor design and commercial centrifuges, it can be inferred that his work in his early 30s. Walter was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and social anxiety disorder. His life became controlled by fear, always believing there were bad people around him, making it impossible for him to interact with anyone. At times, he would even see and answer CIA trackers sent to monitor him. Due to these issues, Walter never formed a family or had any serious romantic relationships. In 1992, at the age of 57, Walter retired from Sandia National Labs. By then he had amassed considerable wealth through his retirement fund and patents, earnings enough to enjoy a comfortable life in retirement. But Walter was not one to rest on his laurels. His restless spirit and exceptional intellect would not allow it. Walter moved to Bowling Green, Kentucky, where he dedicated himself to researching outer space and the search for extraterrestrial life. While we don't know if he found any aliens, this pursuit required significant financial investment to fund his endeavors. Walter turned to the stock market. For someone like him, the market was less a risk and more an endless source of wealth. Using his mathematical prowess, he developed a trading program that netted him nearly $20 million in investments over the years. Over the next decade, concerned about his prolonged silence, she urged police to check on him. Upon arriving at Walter's home, officers found the door locked and no response when they knocked. Unopened mail in the mailbox suggested he had been gone for a week or more without any suspicious signs. They left a contact note and departed. 3 days later, on the 5th of March, with still no word from Walter, police returned. This time the mailbox was open, and all the letters were missing. This development raised suspicion that something might be wrong. They entered the house to investigate. In his workspace, they found several running computers and medications for mental health conditions. Though there were no signs of a crime, the running computers and untouched medications suggested Walter had left in haste. Neighboring residents described Walter as very private, rarely interacting with anyone. Recently, though, they noticed a cleaning van parked outside his home frequently, and once saw a woman enter it. Initially, police didn't investigate further, considering the need for housekeeping services for an elderly person. They were more suspicious of Katie, who delayed reporting for 2 weeks. Katie explained she met Walter online. They had a brief romantic relationship, but eventually became just friends. She revealed that Walter expressed concern about this stranger's intentions, fearing theft or worse. Katie dismissed it due to Walter's mental health issues. However, after their last meeting, Walter suddenly went silent. Initially, Katie thought he was busy with research, but eventually realized something might be wrong and reported it. Katie's story aligned with police findings. The cleaning van led them to Vera, a 57-year-old cleaner, who admitted to visiting Walter's home and taking his mail, claiming it was part of her job. However, on the 7th of March, she claimed seeing Walter at a university nearby. This contradicted Walter's known behavior. Police found large expenditures in Walter S.'s account, linked to Vera, who had transferred $210K into her own name after gaining control over his finances through a power of attorney contract. Her husband Paul corroborated that Vera was addicted to gambling and had squandered their savings, leading them to near bankruptcy. Paul revealed that on the 22nd of February, 5 days after Walter S.'s last known appearance, Vera drove to Indiana where she got into an accident. She assured him they would soon afford a new car despite her financial situation being dire. This raised suspicion. Vera, driven by gambling debts, targeted Walter to improve her financial situation. She befriended him through cleaning services, but was rejected as a caretaker. On the 17th of February, she forced entry into Walter's home and held him captive in her basement. Over time, she coerced information about his finances, leading to the transfer of funds and eventually his murder on the 22nd of February. The body was disposed of in Indiana. In May 2009, 2 years after Walter's death, Vera pleaded guilty to avoid a death sentence and received life imprisonment without parole. Her son Louis faced multiple charges and was sentenced to 30 years for aiding the crime. This tragic tale ends here. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe for more. Thank you for your support.